Hello, everyone, and good morning and good afternoon. And I hope that everyone had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Today, my very special guest, and I can say special because this lady is amazing. Her name is Gena Rotas, and she is a professional speaker and trainer, in addition to running a private psychotherapy and coaching practice for women and children and families to support their efforts to come to know themselves better, practice self care and self love. Her focus has been on mindfulness, teaching the skills and strategies through what she calls mindful and compassionate coaching. Now, with her passion around helping those with addictions, the mindfulness based relapse prevention program has been instrumental throughout her work. And as a teenager, Gina was the one who would help her friends redirect their thinking in order to reduce the drama they engaged in, as so that they could all manage their lives with less stress. Now, since then, she has created an enriching career in education and worked with all age groups from preschool to college level. Now, her focus has been on, with her passion around helping those with mindfulness based relapse prevention. Now, with her program, she's traveled the world working for performance learning systems, training teachers in the how to skills to classroom management and positive relationships with students. Now, since then, she has created an enriching career in education, and she has worked with as an instructor of graduate level programs and worked with prisoners, victims of trauma and abuse, and those in recovery and addictions. For almost 6 years, she worked as an adjustment counselor in an inner city middle school, coaching teachers and parents, community leaders, and children, guiding them towards harmony. She also applied the mindfulness concepts and counselors training, and she's developed these skills over the years. Now, with mm, she also applied the mindfulness concepts and counselors training in the years of weight loss centers that she operated in Springfield, Worcester, and the Boston area in Massachusetts, as well as Providence, Rhode Island. And through the years, she has provided programs for teachers training for the Springfield school system and corporate programs for Mass Mutual Financial, Bay State Medical, among others. And the combination of education and social work has given Gina an important advantage to teach the skills that can profoundly help people change, flourish, and thrive. And the belief that happiness is a choice supports the idea that what we need to do is to have the awareness, the desire, the courage, and the passion to create joy in our lives. Now, when we find peace, purpose, and enthusiasm within our hearts, we can change the world for the better. Now, she sounds like President Biden here. With that, you are on the healing journey and the unity and the restoration of people. Is that correct?
I think that would hit the nail on the head, that the only way we're going to change everything is one heart at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So Yeah, I really do want to underscore how important each individual is and be able to help them decide how they want to move forward in creating their own lives. I
Mm-hmm.
can't change anybody. I can only coach them and encourage them and, you know, kind of support them along the way.
You have been a counselor for what, over 30 years?
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then some.
Now, for 30 years, for 3 of those years, you worked in the penal system and you worked with women and men to help them to overcome the trauma of sexual abuse at an early age. How can you just tell us a little bit about that?
It was a very significant period of time in my life to be able to almost have the honor of working with individuals who were so damaged or traumatized or hurt. We know that hurt people. And
Mm-hmm.
if we can peel away the pain and suffering and help individuals be in touch with their own preciousness of who they really are, so they're not, so that they begin to understand that they are not what they do, but who they are, which is very different. So
Mm-hmm.
the women suffering from trauma um, needed the kind of trauma support in almost integrating the past. We can't forget what happened to us,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really hard sometimes to forgive. But what we need to do is know that that happened on an awareness level and then take that traumatic event or that thread, I call it a thread in our lives, and weave it into the tapestry of our life. So it doesn't become the most significant piece of color in our lives. So
Mm-hmm.
healing trauma can take a significant amount of time. And helping women touch their own hearts and know how important they really are, and that the abuse was not their fault,
Mm-hmm.
their responsibility. It's something that happened to them,
Mm-hmm.
and helping them be in touch with their body, their physical body, and being able to heal some of that trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Working with the men who um, committed abuse in their past and helping them be in touch with that inner, almost that inner child of themselves and how hurt they were. Because usually the men that I worked with had a history of abuse themselves. So
Mm-hmm.
they were victims and then they victimized until they were, made accountable for their crime and then had to do some time. And in that period of time, were willing, not all of them were willing, to do the work that it takes to heal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you say to do the work, what are the steps that either a man or woman that have suffered trauma should take?
There's lots of new research around trauma healing on the
Mm-hmm.
horizon. We used
Mm-hmm.
to think that they could talk about it and that would begin to solve it, but it goes so much deeper, and it really is body work. There's a wonderful researcher, Bessel Vanderkirk, who has
Mm-hmm.
been dealing with trauma his whole life in helping us understand it.
Mm-hmm.
He wrote a great book called The Body Keeps the Score.
The
And
body keeps the score.
so the body always remembers and always knows. So maybe the first step in recovery from trauma is awareness. I have to be aware of where I am here and now
Mm-hmm.
and what's going on for me. And when
Mm-hmm.
something comes up, either in my imagination or in my body or in a situation, that I have enough agency to give myself space before I respond or react to
Mm-hmm.
the situation. So I would say the very first beginning is just to be authentic with what's going on for you and be
Mm-hmm.
willing to feel and we
Mhm.
don't like to feel. That's why we use alcohol and drugs and shopping, and retail therapy is great because then I don't have to feel. I can just keep myself numb. It takes
Mhm.
courage to feel the pain. And through the pain, there's relief and release and healing. And it takes courage. And you don't have to do it alone. For heaven's sake, don't think that you're alone. You
Mhm.
reach out for the kind of work that trauma work provides. And there are
Mhm.
therapists who specialize in trauma all over the world. You want to
Mhm.
seek them out. Uh,
Now, you as a coach, you're also an author.
yeah, I did write.
Now, you've written two books, and what are the titles of your book?
The first book I wrote probably, maybe 30 years ago. It's called Love Your Slim Self. And it was finally published maybe 20 years ago. And it's all about I can't really lose the weight until I really love who I am now. Again, the body keeps the score. So if I'm compassionate with myself now, even in the body that I don't really want to be in, and I don't beat
Mhm.
myself up, and I'm not critical, and I'm compassionate, and I'm tender, I have a shot at choosing better diet foods, better activities, better strategies that are healthy for me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Trying to lose weight, and I'm always thinking, oh, I'll never lose weight. Oh, that's going to go right to my hips. Oh, look how terrible I look. This is a waste of time. All that dialogue that goes on inside. So that's why I titled it Love Your Slim Self, because you are already where you want to be. Your body just didn't catch up with you yet.
Mhm. Mhm.
So when I eat, I say things to myself like everything I eat turns to energy, health, and fitness,
Mhm.
rather than if I eat that donut, it's going to go to my hips. Now, it doesn't mean that I can eat, a dozen donuts and not suffer consequences in my health. But if I care about myself, I then make a decision to eat less.
Mhm.
And I adapt the attitude of a naturally slim person. If you've ever watched a naturally slim person eat, they eat very different than someone who has a problem with weight loss.
Yes, they do.
They
They
get
do.
satisfied sooner because they don't. Someone had said to me, it's like, if I'm trying to lose weight, I live to eat. Someone who's
Mhm.
worried about weight at all, they eat to live,
Mhm.
and it's a mindset. If I can
Mhm.
if I can change my mindset, and know a little bit more about me, then I have a better shot at making a healthy decision. So the bottom line is healthy decisions, fewer problems.
Healthy decisions, fewer problems. Nice. Okie dokie. I'm taking notes here. Look, look, look.
Simple formula.
Now, with that, your second book.
So the second book was birthed out of the work I did with recovery and addiction.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
wanted to call it, because I had the first one, Love Your Slim Self. I wanted to call it Love Your Sober Self, because you know 99.9 of us were born into this world sober, unless our mothers were addicts, and then we had to go through withdrawal, which means we've already gone through withdrawal at least once.
Mhm. Mhm.
Many
Mhm.
of us who have addictive issues keep going through withdrawal. So I decided to change it to include a lot of people who suffer from behaviors,
Mhm.
habits, and addictions that encompass many other things besides alcohol and drugs. So,
Mhm.
I could be addicted to work, a workaholic, and that
Mhm.
really, steps into my life. Or I could be addicted to sugar, to white flour, to shopping, to sex, to scratch tickets and gambling. So there's a whole variety of addictions that run the show. And so the bottom line is I have to learn to love myself in order to make healthy decisions to have fewer problems. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why I chose the title. But
Now, you also have a topic here of sacrificing obnoxious behaviors encourages respect. And can you just touch a little bit on that?
so one of the things I really enjoy is making acronyms. An acronym
Uh-huh.
where you take the letter of each in the word and you create another word for it. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that acronyms is for sober. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So rather than just have sober means sober, I wanted to add more flavor to what it really means. And
Mm-hmm.
sacrificing is like I got to give up some of those obnoxious behaviors in order to have a sober life. I got to
Mm-hmm.
cut out my credit cards. That's an obnoxious behavior is spending a lot of money and not having money to pay for it. So if I cut out my credit cards, I eliminate that obnoxious behavior. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's sobering to think I have to make a better decision, healthy decision,
Mm-hmm.
fewer problems.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite acronym is what I did with stupid. So we grow up with people calling us stupid. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know you, but sometimes I'll just do something really dumb and call myself, that was a stupid thing to do. Oh, how stupid could you be? I lost my keys. I'll start out, and leave the house and forget something, have to turn around. And I've done that
Mm-hmm.
once, right? And and the inner dialogue that we have uses the word stupid all the time. And for some of us who grew up with that, it meant a really painful experience to be called stupid. And then
Mm-hmm.
your body feels it. So I use the word stupid, STUPID, and I made an acronym out of it, which is some trip ups postpone intelligent decisions.
Okie dokie. Now with that intelligent decision, it's just the shift in the way that we think and view ourselves.
I think so. And also, it entitles us to make mistakes because
Mm-hmm.
mistakes were also a difficult criticism for us. We don't want to make,
Mm-hmm.
but that's how we learn. So if I make a mistake, I just postponed an intelligent decision,
Mm-hmm.
right? In other words,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been a better decision to not buy the gallon of ice cream and to buy the gallon of ice cream, which was a stupid mistake. That's all. It postponed the intelligent decision because if the ice cream's in my freezer, I know it's going to be in my body within a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't help me feel good. And so rather
Mm-hmm.
than saying it was a stupid thing, I'd say, oh, it postponed an intelligent decision. Next time, I'm going to use my imagination. Next time, I'm going to walk by the ice cream freezer and not buy half a gallon, or maybe just buy one of those teeny weeny little cups that is a much better decision.
Next time, but you allow self-forgiveness for the small mistakes that you make.
I would even celebrate it when are aware of it. So when you make the mistake and you can be awake and you can say,
Mhm.
oh my God, I can't believe I ate half a gallon of ice cream again, and I'm awake. I hear it. It's like, oh, can I make a better decision next time I have that urge,
Mhm.
right? Rather than beating myself up.
Mhm.
Because, well, look at it this way. If your best friend came to you and said all of the horrible things that you say inside your own mind, called
Mhm.
names and says, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I did that. Look what I failed again. Nobody's going to have faith in me. Nobody believes me anymore. What would you say to your friend?
I would tell my friend, don't be so hard on yourself
Bingo,
because
bingo.
you
Because
you know, we make mistakes and
right, Right. So I'm saying
Mhm.
become your own best friend.
Mhm.
So say to yourself, don't be so hard on yourself. Forgive yourself. You can have another time. So becoming your own best friend is a very, I think it's a new thought because not very many people do it. It's like just
Okay.
friend.
It also in the book, you also discuss, there's a chapter saying, are you talking about me? Like perhaps you're laughing at the idea of even imagining your real self. Could you be asking yourself right now, how could I even think of myself as a real or authentic when I've been struggling with either unhealthy habits, certain behaviors, maybe addictions, or one kind of either bad habit or not. Now, are you talking about me? Can you explain that chapter?
And I think that that was why I said I don't think falling in love with yourself is a very common idea. It sounds good, but I don't think a lot of people really embrace that because that's the bottom line. Can I actually be authentic and feel good about me when I feel so crappy about me? How is that even possible? I think you're right. That most people would say this is beyond my comprehension. I can't even imagine myself. So one of the things I ask,
Why is that? Why is that?
well, I think that growing up and coming into this planetary world is
Mm-hmm.
very difficult, challenging, um, interesting, not always so positive experience.
Okie dokie.
I mean, just coming through the canal to be born takes a lot of
Ooh.
effort. Right, right, exactly. So we come into
Shit.
this world with this dialogue
Hi.
that goes on in our head, and then we think that's who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And and
One of my guests, Shannon Murphy. Hi, Shannon. She says, "Is it possible
is it possible
to?"
to fall in love with yourself?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's my analogy for this one. Think of someone that you love dearly, and I put this in the book too. Think of someone that you just love. That
Mm-hmm.
could be a child, it could be a pet, it could be a mentor, it could be a grandmother, it could be a relative, it could be a parent, someone that you just love, that you adore. And I want you to hold that feeling of love and affection for that particular individual. Just hold it for a minute
Mm-hmm.
about it. Kind of feel it in your body, in your gut, in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
And then I want you to take that energy, that feeling, more than just a thought, the feeling of loving someone that you care a lot about, and then
Mm-hmm.
just pour it on yourself and give yourself that feeling. And then just notice the possibility of being willing to learn how to fall in love with yourself. It's almost like, let's be willing to be willing. To be willing, to be willing, to be willing. You can put as many willings as you want. Am I willing to consider? And it's always a consideration because it's always your choice. So if you don't want to be your best friend and you don't want to fall in love with yourself, that's fine. That's what you want. But if you want to entertain the idea of becoming your own best friend, that's where you start. I got to be willing to even
Mm-hmm.
consider. So when she asks Shannon, is it possible? Absolutely. Absolutely, it's possible. And I believe anything is possible. Because what the mind can conceive and believe, it's you're able to achieve. And that was written many, many years ago by some famous people. Your mind can just about do anything that you believe.
Now,
Believing in yourself is a darn good thing to do.
I think so. I think that loving yourself unconditionally is essential. And I think it is essential to self acceptance, self awareness, self respect, self compassion, to eradicate shame and hate. And I think that the first place to start is with you.
And I would suggest that changing the words, because I really think words are very powerful.
Changing the wording,
Changing the words to eradicate shame. I would rather soften shame.
soften shame.
Right, right. So that it doesn't, because when I think about eradicate, I think, oh, I've got to go in there with a, whatever you call them. That
Soften shame.
takes a lot of energy, right? So if I
Hmm.
soften the dialogue that goes on in my head, the shame in my heart, the guilt in my stomach, if I soften it, then I can be aware of it. And if I'm
Hmm.
aware of it, then I can make a different choice.
Soften it.
That's what I would think.
Now, you've also mentioned the first time that you had stress and drama. Now, can you elaborate on that a little bit? And let's see, because with all the expectations, with the professional commitments, community involvement, we all have like hectic daily schedules, and some of us have compromised health. How do you deal with that?
Okay. That's been a lifelong journey for me. And I think my introduction to the power of the heart was a pivotal place of change for me. And,
Hmm.
and let me talk a little bit more about the heart. There's a great organization called Heart Math, MATH,
Heart math.
heartmath.com. And there's a technique which allows you to create coherence in your heart.
Hmm.
And coherence, a coherent heart, is a heart that is um, beating at a much more cohesive tempo or rate. It's called the heart rate variable.
Hmm.
It asks that you spend time in gratitude, appreciation, love, and care.
Hmm.
Cultivating that in your mind
Hmm.
so that it becomes familiar. Right? So many things are strange to us. And in order for it to become familiar, I have to practice because practice
Hmm.
is permanent, not perfect. So we're not perfect and we don't want it to be perfect. We just want it to be better.
Hmm. Hmm.
So my introduction to heart math and to the coherence of the heart put me in a state of maybe acceptance along with awareness.
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
the drama that happens outside us happens. What is. And I don't have to have an impact in any way if I don't want to.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
I kind of can play out the scenario in my own mind. If I step into that mess, I'm going to get all wound up. And I can remember being extremely wound up with a whole lot of drama. I didn't come out any better when I went in. So it's like, what's the reason that I would get involved with the drama? By, prac-
His.
by practicing with your heart, you can
Mhm.
be in a place where drama doesn't suck you in anymore.
Now, you also have like when you're either having drama with the kids, with your partner, a friend, the cat, the dog, the bird, like for no good reason. Like, how do you release the stress when that is within you, so that you don't take it out on the family, like a stranger. You don't come home and kick the cat and kick the dog, and like, how do you release that stress before you get home, or before you enter the house, or before you come into contact with a friend, family, loved one, or an innocent bystander?
That's a great question, because we are all experience that in our lives. And what
Mhm.
happens is I can either react to
Mhm.
what's going on, or I can create a space between what went on and what I'm feeling so that I can make a better decision. I can choose
Mhm.
what I want to do, because then I have, my executive functioning, which is behind my forehead, my free prefrontal cortex, and I'm not running on that stress hormone, fight, flight, freeze, faint, the
Mhm.
cortisol that causes all of that. But it means that I have to take time minimally to take a very deep cleansing breath.
Mhm.
The breathing has been a sidekick for me for the past 50 years. Taking a deep breath, spending time in mindfulness or in meditation, quieting. You'll never stop the mind from chattering, but you can
Mhm.
train it and you can calm it. And as you develop those practices, you then begin to understand that if you're upset coming home, I have one trick for a dad who gets really upset on his way home, and he kind of like comes into the house and explodes, right? He doesn't want to do it anymore.
Mhm.
He's willing to do something different, right?
Mhm.
So a suggestion that they've really come up with, especially during spending time with the trauma recovery
Mhm.
treatment, is if you have your hands palms up, you can't be angry.
Hmm.
So again, the body
Really?
keeps the score. The
Really?
body keeps the score. The body. So use your body to help. So if you just, and I said, so drive home in your truck and sit in the driver's seat with your hands palms up for a minute and just breathe.
Mhm.
And your body will calm down so that the drama isn't going to take you away down crazy lane. You get to make a different choice. Even if it's like, I'm just going in and I'll say hi and go to my room and, or go in the shower or whatever it might be, so that I don't cause more heartache.
Mhm.
I want to be responsible. See, let's see. I can't control the emotions that happen. I can only control my response.
Mhm.
And if I'm willing to learn how to control my response, then I don't have to feed the drama. Does that
Mhm.
make sense?
It makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to pressures and tensions, disappointments, defeats, letdowns, and frustrations, overwhelms, and trauma, like, say, life little miserable moments, can you take the place where you can respond instead of reacting to to break certain habits or behaviors, regarding addictions, bad habits,
Right.
unhealthy eating habits, destructive behaviors that not only affect you, the person, but the people around you?
Yes. And the key, Jennifer, is awareness.
Awareness, everything back
Come
to
back.
awareness.
Because if I'm aware of what's taking place, then I can
Mhm.
make a better decision, healthy choices, fewer problems. But if I'm not aware, if I'm asleep or if I'm unconscious or if I don't know what's going on or I'm not paying attention or I'm thinking of something else,
Mhm.
that's when I pick up and use, or I engage in the negative behaviors, or garbage comes out my mouth, or the credit card comes out of my pocketbook, you know, because I want to anesthetize the feeling.
Mm,
So,
mm,
so I gotta really respect and take care of my feelings as much as my thinking, because I have this human body that functions.
mm, mm.
Trying to figure out how to make it function in the best possible way.
Now, when it comes to shopaholics and unhealthy eating habits, I think that how we respond, because shopping can be an addiction as well, I think.
It can be. It absolutely can be for many people. And I think retail therapy is the best thing ever. And I give myself permission and a budget, and I go have a hell of a good time. But if I did it every weekend, or if I spent all time online ordering, stuff that I don't really need, then
Mm-hmm.
addiction, because while I'm purchasing, even if it's online, I'm not present.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm in
Mm-hmm.
an addiction.
Now, there's also another chapter where you say, where did your healthy or sober self go? Where Now, with that, there's always the other side of life, like is available to you, and it is either the healthy side or it could be the unhealthy side or the unsober side. Where can you just
Oh, you froze. Can you unfreeze? Because I don't know if you can still hear me. Jennifer, are you there? Well, I'll talk while you're trying to figure out how to get back online. I don't even know. Let's Shannon. Are you still on? Can you tell if you can hear me? I don't know what to do. Um, the fact that your healthy self is always there watching, and who you are, your authentic self, is always part of you, is very important to believe. Um, Finding that part of you that's very tender, important, precious, um, however you want to be able to hold that, is a challenge. So knowing that you always have the option to make a healthy choice. You always have the encouragement to live a sober life. It's always available to you. Someone had said to me once, the physical body, the emotional body, the spiritual body, the etherical body always wants to go back to health. We're DNA programmed for health. We just need to have the accurate components, healthy choices, fewer problems. So if I know sobriety is always available to me, it's been there from the beginning. I think I said too in the book, you were born sober. When you were born, you knew you were a king or a queen. There was no doubt in your tiny little body that you were the best thing that showed up on the planet. And then through our experience of being, you know, in our family, and there
there?
you're back. Did you hear anything I said?
I'm sorry. The thing was you was frozen
And you
and
were.
then we were disconnected for a little while.
Right.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh,
What
that's,
happened?
although Shannon said she could hear me. Um,
Shannon, you could hear her? I
yeah,
couldn't hear her. I had to close everything and then open everything back up.
yeah.
And now what's going on, Miss Gina?
Well, I'm talking about
What
the
were
fact
we
that
saying?
right, you asked about your sober self, and I said you've been sober since the time you were born. Because when you
Mm-hmm.
were born, you knew on a spiritual, on an intellectual, and a physical level that you were a queen or a king. You knew
Mm-hmm.
because you came out of love. And
Mm-hmm.
and you were loved, many of us, very early on. So that energy of love kind of like set the little flame of sobriety and it's never gone out. It might have gone really dim, but your essence has never left you. You are pure light, pure love, pure energy. So one of the things that I believe in my rather seasoned years is that everything is helping us remember. It's important for us to remember. Okay.
Remember,
Yeah.
it's
Remember.
helping us to remember who we are and that you have value and that you are love and that you are, I guess, worth it.
Oh, that is such a big issue, Jennifer. I can't tell you how many people don't think they deserve to be loved.
Really?
They don't deserve
Well, I'm
happiness.
not surprised.
They don't deserve ease. They don't deserve money. They don't deserve, success. They don't deserve people to care about them. They don't deserve people to love them because they feel and think that they are not worthy. And so
Now, how do you help them? How do you help them? How do you help them to realize that because they exist and that they're here on the planet,
right,
that they are worthy?
right. It's that simple. And then you have to be willing to be willing to be willing to be willing
To be willing, to be willing, to be willing, to be willing.
Consider it, right? One of the things that I struggle with people is a lot of individuals are very good at giving. They want to care for others. They want to give. They're always trying to take care of people. They're the ones who are making the food and taking people places, and they're exhausted. When someone says, "Let me bring you dinner," let me take no, I don't need that. I'm fine.
They don't know how to receive.
Bingo. Right. So they're a great giver, but they suck at receiving. And so I'll give assignments. I'll say, okay, if I'm going to talk to you next week, this week, you have to decide where you want to eat. You have to ask for a cup of tea or for a neck rub or for a warm blanket. You have to ask for something. And the only thing you're allowed to do is say thank you. And people,
wow,
they struggle with it. If someone gives you a compliment, if you don't feel
thank
worthy,
you.
They don't. If they don't feel worthy, they go, oh, no, this whole thing, oh, no, that's not who I am. Oh, no. They don't want to take in, hey, you look great. Thank you. So, yeah.
Thank you. Listen, honor and respect, Miss Gena, honor and respect, because I understand you're helping me. And I think I'm helping you in some way, realizing that because you exist, self-love and self-care softens the what is the word? Deprecation?
Yes, right. Loathing, self-loathing. I have people come to me and I'll say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10, you love everything about you. You love yourself. And 1 is you hate yourself. Most people are 1 or 2. I hate myself.
And that I hear that a lot. Why is that? Why do you think that people have such a hard time just loving who they are? Just because
is how we were raised. And we forget to be aware of that. Many times I'll say, and so what did you hear when you were little? It's not good enough. You didn't do it right. Shut up, don't cry. What, you're such a baby. You're too sensitive. All those things. You can't do it right. You're really stupid. All of those things get buried in our bodies. Remember, the body keeps the score. So what I have to do is be aware of my body. Awareness is the key. So when someone says something to me and I get a pit in my stomach, the first thing I want to do is take a deep breath Let's breathe and say, where did that pit in my stomach come before? Where did I feel it before? And just
Mm.
start to get a story, and it's like, I remember when my father or my mom or my big brother, or whatever it is, said to, and that's, oh man, I would have that stuff. Has nothing to do with what the person said.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about you. What's going on with you? And
Mm-hmm.
then when you kind of like make that connection, you're grateful to be able to practice the breath, the mindfulness, and a healthy decision, a healthy choice.
Mm-hmm.
Great practice. Practice makes permanent.
Now, Mr. George Green, just, I guess he's commenting. He goes, how great is the love of the Father has lavished on us that we should be called the children of God, and that what we, although are innocent and in innocent perfection, who gave his life for us, that we have been forever called the children of God. Now, do you see yourself as someone that God loves? I guess now everyone's chiming in, but do you see yourself as someone that is loved unconditionally, that God loves you
Well,
unconditionally?
I'm just going to be really frank and say, I think God's really smart to love me.
Mm. Okie dokie. Now, let's see. Now, is there another question? One more question. I think we have a couple more minutes. Let's see. Now, you also wrote that love your significant self. 7 ways to begin falling in love with you. Like you. Like 7 ways to fall in love with you. How do you do that?
Well, I think one of the things that you have to come to grips with is that this is going to be, if you accept the mission, right? Wasn't that mission
Accept the
possible?
mission.
Right? Accept the challenge of learning
Uh-huh.
learning to love yourself. You've got to
Mm-hmm.
create some opportunities for you to practice, because love is something you do. It's an energy,
Mm-hmm.
but you do,
Mm-hmm.
right?
It's
And so
an action word.
action word, loving. It's an action
Mm-hmm.
word, right? And so finding ways to really honor who you are is certainly going to celebrate the love that you are.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a variety of ways and all kinds of examples that I have added in the book about practicing love. So one of them, if you recognize that you're going to even take on the challenge, should you accept this mission, right? Here's some of the things that you can do. And one of
Uh-huh.
to calm, and the second title of the book, I don't know if people can see, here's the book, right? So it's small changes to quiet the gremlins and tame those unhealthy habits, behaviors, and addiction.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like quieting the dialogue that happens inside your mind,
Mm-hmm.
softening it, being aware of it, and then
Mm-hmm.
being gentle with yourself,
Being gentle
right?
with yourself.
And if you put your hand on your heart, it demands tenderness, right? So you're gentle with yourself and you're coming home. Just keep coming home, and then minimally come to neutral by taking a deep breath. So throughout the book, I've said, take a deep breath, take a deep breath. When you're off center, take a deep breath because it brings you back into the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
That's where my power is, in the
And,
present moment.
and you also mentioned to tell yourself that you're in the process of falling in love with yourself, that your health and well-being are now a priority.
Why not?
That's a good question.
Right. You would say that to your best friend. You know,
Mhm.
healthy choices, fewer problems. So if my
Mhm.
health is a priority, sure, I'm going to make mistakes. Sure, I'm
Mhm.
going to have extra salt if I've got high blood pressure. Sure, I'm going to have some ice cream, right? I'll make some mistakes. But I'm not going to beat myself up for a week and
Mhm.
feel really bad about it. I'm going, you know what? This is what I need to do in order to be healthy and
Mhm.
feel right. I know I have to eat well. I have to exercise. I don't want to say have to. I want to. I want to eat well. I want to exercise. I want to get good sleep. And I want to stay away from the things that cause me pain. Using drugs and alcohol cause me pain.
Mhm.
So I want to stay away from it so that I can have
Me too. Me too.
so I can have
Me
a
too.
life. Right.
Mhm.
I deserve a healthy life.
Mhm.
God wanted me to have a healthy life,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
I want to be able to love unconditionally myself and others. Because when I love myself, then my pitcher is full in order for me to love others.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Now, you also tell us that you don't have to believe that you love you just yet. Just choose to entertain the thought.
So so that's
Write it on a card, say
right,
it to yourself.
right. And that's because we all don't believe it. We don't believe we deserve
Ah.
to love ourselves because there's this misconception that, oh, then I'm going to be selfish. Yeah.
But
Then people,
that's not in a narcissistic kind of way,
well,
just
exactly.
loving yourself.
But that's what people think initially. It's like, oh, if I love myself, then people are going to call me narcissistic and I'm going to be all.
Ah.
That's not the self love that we're asking for.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, it's a genuine, authentic love of tenderness. It's like loving that younger self of you and having
Mhm.
a relationship of saying, I'm so sorry that happened to you when you were little.
Mhm.
So sorry. I wasn't there to protect you. It's not your fault. And never say but. Kiss the butt away. And I'm here for you now to help you love yourself now. So you're not alone either. You're not alone.
And you say write it on a card, post it in your world. Like I get to ask for what I want. I get to make my own choices. I get to keep learning and I get to love me. Now, why is that important? Why should we frame that picture of yourself when you are happy?
It's very complicated mind dialogue. And
Really?
well, think about how you talk to yourself all day long. We
Yeah, I do that.
we have 50,000 thoughts a day,
Uh-huh.
50,000 thoughts a day, and
Wow.
99% of them are negative.
Really? Is it?
Right. Think about it. Because it's always what didn't happen, what could have happened, why did it happen, what's happening next, that's not going to work. Oh, got in the wrong line again. Stupid me. I should have been in that other line. Whatever it's going on, but they've figured out 50,000 thoughts a day is a lot of thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
So when you pick one thought, like I am enough, just the way I am, it's one
Mm-hmm.
thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
It gets lost in 50,000 thoughts. It doesn't pop up enough. But if I see it and I say it because I got a postie stick it with it on, or a credit card, or a file folder card, or something to remind me that these are the new thoughts I want to replace the old ones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I am enough, just the way I am. It could take,
And write it on a post-it, put it on the bathroom mirror, put it on the bedroom mirror when you're getting dressed and you see yourself.
yeah,
I
I'm
am enough,
I'm
just
enough.
the way that I am.
And if you say that a lot, at
Mm-hmm.
some point, there's going to be an acceptance of it. It's like, oh, oh,
I am. Oh.
I'm not sassy about it. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I am enough. Oh, I am a good person. Oh, I am worthy of love. Oh, I do deserve to be cared for. Oh, I do deserve to be gentle.
Nice, nice. And on that note, how can we get in contact with you, Miss Gena?
My email is Gena, Gena Rotas, Rotas, at Gmail. Okay.
And are you on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter?
I am on Facebook. It's not my best process. There's too much drama on Facebook. So email me
And
first.
you're also a JV Collaborate member. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. I'm recently in part of that group. So just beginning to figure it out. Yes, which is how I met you.
Yes, it is, and it's such a wonderful group. It really is. It's an amazing group because the group is full of so much positive energy. It's a great community, and we get to connect with each other and learn and grow from each other and interact with each other. Now, you're also on. Where can they get the book?
It's on Amazon. So use my name to Google it on Amazon, Gena Rotas, and it should come up on Amazon.
And that's Gina with an E.
Gena. Yes, thanks. Rotas. Rotas. Rotas.
Gina with an E. And do you have any more golden nuggets for us, Gina?
I want you all to take a very deep, full breath. Just breathe in and let it release.
Yes.
And do that throughout the day as often as you can. Make it a habit. Hook, if you want to change a habit or add a new habit, hook it to something you already do. So y'all get in and put your seatbelt in. Take
Mm-hmm.
a breath when you put your seatbelt on. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
brush your teeth. Take a deep breath before you brush your teeth. Right? Y'all
Mm-hmm.
answer the phone. Take a deep breath before you answer the phone. So that the breath becomes part of your essence of who you are. The breath is life. It's free. You can have as much of it as you want. So breathe it in. Take advantage. Give yourself that gift. A nice big deep breath so you fill up all the lungs. All the oxygen goes into your body as life force. So
Life force.
that's prana, right? The chi, the breath. Good. Yeah. Just keep breathing. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that we take just breathing for granted.
We don't breathe. Most of us breathe just very shallow from here to here,
Mm-hmm.
top of your lungs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bring in the breath into the belly. If you take yoga, you know the belly breath, right? You bring it all in. That's you've got all this lung force, even got lung force up here, and you've got lungs in the back. So we're missing out. And if you think about breathing in the love that's there,
Mm-hmm.
use the
Ooh.
breath, right? And if you can't think of something and you find yourself ready to respond or react to something, just take a breath before you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Breath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This way, you're responding instead of
Yeah.
reacting.
Right. Right.
Oh
Exactly.
my gosh. Oh my gosh, Miss Gina. Thank you so very
Oh, this
much for
was
your
so much
time.
fun.
Honor and respect to you, Miss Gina.
You too, my dear.
And you're
Beautiful.
welcome. You're welcome back anytime. Come back anytime,
Just let
and we'll connect again.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so very much,
Thank
everyone,
you,
for
everyone
joining
out there.
us.
Thank you.
Remember to pick up a copy of Miss Gina's book. And the title of that book again is
Oh, here I'll show.
Love. What is this? Love You?
Small
Love.
changes.
Love you. Love you, love you, love you,
And
love
it's
you.
a sticky note in a jeans pocket. That's the cover of the book.
And remember, you can also pick up a copy of my book, My Journey to Healing. That's available on Amazon as well.
Nice.
And come join us anytime. And on that note, have a good day, everyone, and see you at the next session. Stay put, Miss Gina.
Thanks.
Oi. Oi.